Hey guys, finally back to the studio, finally music making right here, my favorite place on planet Earth. Yesterday I talked very briefly about DJing. I've been a DJ for now 15 years, with ups and downs, of course, touring within Europe and then not touring at all again. And now due to COVID, no gigs at all. First time in my life ever for 1.5 years. Although I had one live stream gig and it was just bad. No crowd, no fun. That's 100% true. But let's talk about DJing, because some of my friends always ask me, what are you doing as a DJ? Is it hard? Is it easy? Are DJs only pressing play? That's very common among a lot of people, and it's true in some sort, form or way, and it's also not true at the same time. We'll try and explain everything.
Really trying to lock this down. So relax, they'll never catch you.
First up, let's head downstairs. Leaving this place always hurts, even if it's just for a minute. But this room right here, the live room with the drum set, I also absolutely love. And we moved the DJ desk right over here because we got a little more space. So I consider DJing an art form. I personally also consider it in some sort, way or form an instrument. It's not an instrument where you create sounds from scratch. It's an instrument where you take sounds by other people that are already entirely done and either mix them together, mingle them, loop them, twist them, put effects on it. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can actually do. And for example, the egg shaker, which you might consider an instrument, a very simple one, because you can just shake it. Trust me, there are people that are playing this instrument for 10 years and they have crazy techniques. Every kind of art form has an entry level where it's really easy and has the super pro skilled kind of people that really master it. And I think for DJing that is true a lot. So the very basic DJing involves nothing. Honestly, I could teach every single one of you watching right now that never had any contact with DJing or music whatsoever. I could teach them DJing. Very, very simple, especially with the newer equipment with media players, CD players. With vinyl, whole nother story we'll get to at the very end of the video. But right here, I've selected the song, and with the cue button, it's similar to a play button, but if you hit it, it plays while you hold it. If you let go, it jumps back to the position. Very simple. And on the other deck, you have a second song that plays something else. And the main thing a DJ does is keeping the vibe on a dance floor with selecting the right songs, which I think is the highest skill when you're a DJ. Picking the right songs at the right time for the right crowd at the right festival or club is very, very key. Especially if you're not one of the superstar DJs. They just play their own songs or play whatever they want, people like it. But if you're a smaller DJ playing in clubs where people don't even know who you are, it's very important to read the crowd and know what fits and which song fits well to another song, how to kind of not tell a story, that's maybe a little too much, but how to start slow, take it up a notch, and then towards the end of the evening, take it a little slow again. On this deck right here, we just have a simple drum loop. And here on this side, this is the new song we want to mix into the other one. We then use the pitch fader to sync them, to make sure they have the same tempo. Otherwise, you can't put them on top of each other. That's the trick. If you want to blend a song into another song, just lowering the volume on one and increasing it on the other one doesn't cut it, because you have beats, there is a rhythm, and if the rhythms aren't in sync, it sounds horrible. Let's maybe demonstrate that really quick. Your brain doesn't even know what to focus on. So we need to make sure they are the same speed. which is fairly easy because it says right here 123. And here on this deck, it's 122, so we speed it up a little to 123, both same BPM. Now they are at the same speed. But it still sounds kind of weird because they're not like, they have the same speed, so they always stay in the same weird rhythm, but we need to align them, put them on top of each other. And that's done fairly easy, either by just, again, using the Q button and hitting it at the right time to match the other song, or by just like correcting it by pushing the song forward, speeding it up, or slowing it down. Now both songs are in sync. Now not anymore. Even worse. And back in sync again. That's basically all you do as a DJ. That's like your main component. That's what I've done every single night between every single song, especially for electronic dance music. If you DJ more hip hop, R&B, or even pop music, you need to introduce scratching into your skill set because you have a lot of songs that have very different BPMs. So big BPM jumps are a little awkward. For example, right here, let's down and up. But yeah, that's like the main thing a DJ does. The DJ hits play, but he hits play having both songs in the same tempo and in the right moment. But then everything else is really just like fading one song out, one song in, maybe using EQs, like cutting the low frequencies, the high frequencies, mixing it in between, using effects to make it even smoother. But I'm 100% confident if you can like get both songs to the same BPM, sync them, and then just do a simple, very simple, like crossfade or like line fader down, the other one up. You got a transition where no one ever will complain on the dance floor because you keep people dancing. If you do that, not synced, people will stop dancing 100%. That's like, it sometimes happened to me probably like 10, 20 times that I messed up beat matching because I was too drunk or not focused, or the song changed BPM while playing, or maybe back in the days with vinyl, the needle maybe jumped. People stop dancing immediately and look at you, and that's really not what you want. It feels really horrible. But of course, again, you can take it to a whole nother skill level. You can like loop up sections. You can use effects. You can load in here not like 2 songs, but you can have like a song and a cappella, maybe a third one of these decks, and introduce even more samples. So there's a whole level of skill involved. Unfortunately, most DJs I know, especially the really big ones on the big stages, they don't do any of it. They don't even do the beat matching or scratching anymore. They just honestly hit play most of the time. This is due to them pre-selecting all of the songs, so even the song selection is not adjusted to the crowd. They usually just have like half an hour to an hour, and there are a lot of people watching online. Usually, for example, Tomorrowland is like then like captured on YouTube, and people ask about the songs. So they want to feature their own songs to advertise them, and feature songs by people they like or that they try to help other producers or friends of them. So it's very planned, very planned. I'd say Tomorrowland, for example, the main stage, every set is planned to 90 up to 95%, if not even 100%. Especially if you have like a light show, fireworks, it all has to fire off at the same time. It needs to be pre-planned. There is not really a whole lot of spontaneous like reacting to anything. It's just not possible. Of course, there are some exceptions. There are some DJs that are very skilled and show these kind of skills, and I salute to them. But the majority of the DJs, especially the big ones, they don't do a whole lot. And if you now ask why are they on those big stages, what is the skill they have, that's really the key thing when it comes to DJing. It's not about the technical skill, maybe a tiny bit, maybe the hardcore fan base or people that are DJs themselves appreciate it. But the majority of people just go there to have fun, get drunk, take some drugs, party really hard. And the thing a DJ actually needs nowadays is like getting the gig. That's the hard part. The technical side of things, again, 15 minutes. Everyone can learn it, at least the basics to be able to play in front of a crowd. But then getting that gig is a whole nother story, and it involves more marketing, producing music, producing big hits with other big artists, like that whole kind of thing that puts you on the front stage. That's the key, at least as of now. The other way to DJ is just being like a local DJ, and that is usually more about connecting with the right people. Of course, you need to play good music, and of course you need to do your transitions right, but that's usually not the hard part. If you just train for a week, half an hour, you should feel confident enough, especially with the newer equipment, to be in front of a crowd and just play something. Now let's talk really quick about the good old vinyl. And that's how I started DJing. It's a whole nother story. There's nothing showing you the BPM. There's nothing where you can hit sync and it's synced. Even the platter itself is not like, it's not at the same rate the entire time. It flutters a little. It speeds up and slows down. So usually every 20 seconds, I had to like touch the record and like give it a little, or maybe slow it down a little, constantly. Every 20 seconds you had to make sure it's just in sync. And you needed to train that a lot. You needed to train a lot more to know which one of the two songs is actually the one that is behind, which is not that easy to know, especially in a loud club. So yeah, back in the days I trained probably an hour per day, also scratching and like also making sure that the needle doesn't jump, because depending on how you touch it, it will jump immediately. So you need to learn to have like the right pressure. You need to know how to adjust the entire needle system, that it has the right weight and it doesn't press too much onto the record and not too little, so it can actually skip one of the grooves. You had to check your vinyl beforehand. If it had like a dent or was bent, there was a very high risk that it might jump. You needed to clean them, you needed to buy them, collect them. And back in the days, what I loved the most about vinyl was actually that everyone had like a different vinyl collection. Every DJ sounded very much different, because he might live in another city, have like just 2 or 3 record stores, they have like a selection of records. So music wasn't available, like all songs were available to everyone. Now that all music is available to everyone, you would think it would be more diverse, but everyone is just playing the same stuff because he can get the same stuff as someone else that he admires or just wants to copy, or thinks by copying him he might have the same success. Back in the days, you had your vinyl. And I can guarantee you my vinyl selection is 95% different than someone else's vinyl collection. There is not that much that is similar, and I still have some records that you might not even get anywhere. So I'm missing that a little, the uniqueness of a DJ due to having that special vinyl record collection. But yeah, that's it. I hope this explains a little what a DJ actually does on stage, how much of it is just pressing play. Some DJs just hit play, some don't. Let me know what you think about this topic. Do you think DJs only press play and that it doesn't take any skill at all? Or do you think it's something very, very skillful that is very admirable and you really look up to these DJs? Let me know. See you tomorrow back here in the studio with another episode, probably upstairs music production.
All we have is just maybe enough. So relax, they gon' never catch up. They gon' never catch up to me.